we're all ready to go. Yesterday's victory was taken by Rupert Death, number 23. He fought his way through fabulously during the race. But the good thing about this championship is that the grid for this second race is based on their fastest laps in the race, which I think is a great way to do it. Now, we've got a car missing, I've just suddenly noticed. Kane Aston, who actually had issues yesterday, and I was really hopeful they'd get this sorted, but they've not been able to. So Kane Aston is not out there on this grid. That's a real shame. So the second row has only got Peter Baldwin, car number 50, on his own. But it looks like we are ready. The 5-second board has been given. Aaron Smith in number 21 on pole position. Fought hard with Rupert Death the whole time. Red lights are on. And off they go, and a great start by both cars on the front row. Peter Baldwin's wasn't particularly great, which means that 88 and 29, that's Dan Wheeler and Dave Drew, are about to sort of try and gobble him up. But actually, I think the second phase for Peter Baldwin was quite good there. Second group had just been shown the Union flag, and it is Rupert Death from second on the grid that has swept round the outside and managed to pass our pole sitter Aaron Smith. So Aaron Smith down to second position at the moment. Then it's a fair old gap that looks like it is still car number 50, Peter Baldwin, I think, that is sat there in third at the moment. And fourth is the distinctive livery Dan Wheeler, 88, black with the sort of day-glow green front to that car. That one's easy to tell that it's him. But it did look as though Peter Baldwin was going to be swallowed up by Dave Drew and Dan Wheeler, but I think somehow he managed to wrestle that away and keep hold of it as we wait to see them come down for the first time in this 20-minute race to Brundle and Nelson. And we should see Rupert Death, Rupert Death in first, Aaron Smith 21 in second, and yes, I think it is Peter Baldwin sat there in third, 88 Dan Wheeler in fourth position, and a small gap, and it's a gaggle of cars sat there. And I believe it is 29 Dave Drew that's holding that one out. So around they come towards us. They'll be coming back into our sight. And look at this side by side for the lead, and it's changed. It looks like our pole sitter Aaron Smith, 21, wasn't happy, sat there in second. He suddenly managed to throw it round a lot faster. And I got a feeling, I remember him doing this yesterday, that he was absolutely monster in Coram, and then suddenly the advantage flips the other way in some of the other areas for Rupert Death.
Well, you remember yesterday's race, of course, he started ninth and he was first going into Rich's on lap 2 because he got a mega run through that last section of the track.
Right, yeah.
And drove past everyone down the pit straight. Well, this time he's the one punching the hole in the air for Rupert Death to try and attack. Now, Rupert's got two choices here, the first of which is to race Aaron Smith right here, right now, and try and take the lead as soon as possible. The other is that they could potentially work together and try and build a gap on the rest of the field, then fight it out between themselves later. I have a feeling which way this one's going to go, but that is certainly an option for them. At the moment, they're certainly racing hard for it, and they're not escaping from the rest of the pack.
It's not an option any of them have been taking so far, is it? A car that I've just noticed done an incredible job on that opening lap. Car number 85, Sam Summerhays, started 12th on the 6th row, and he's now sat there running in 5th position. So he's got ahead of the 29 car of Dave Drew that started in 5th, and his next target is 88, Dan Wheeler, sorry. But what a fantastic opening lap for him. So we wait to see them appear. There they are in Brundle and Nelson, and it's as you were for the front three. And in fact, it looks like Summerhays has got past Dan Wheeler and up into 4th from 12th on the grid. That is fantastic. He clearly had issues with that car yesterday, and equally clearly he managed to resolve it at the moment at least, and he's done a sterling job up there into what will be 4th position. His next target, of course, is the number 50 car of Peter Baldwin that started all alone on the 2nd row in the end, and already you can see he's closing in on that 3rd row. But he's spun it.
Oh, two of them have. There was fluid down.
Yeah, and that's quite an unusual place, although as you say, they're still kind of turning, aren't
Another one off as well. There must be some fluid being laid down by somebody through corner. The leader's got through, okay, so that suggests it may not be one of those two. Let's have a look. Aaron Smith looks fine. Rupert Death looks fine as well. That is very strange. Then Dan Wheeler side by side now and then with Summerhays, having both recovered from moments up at Coram Corner. Wheeler on the inside line. Summerhays won't go around the outside. Then it's Tony LeMay is now 5th place with Dave Drew in 6th.
I think Summerhays was already lining up a challenge on the exit of Rich's there, but the one that really lost out there was the number 50 car, Peter Baldwin. That I don't think he could get it moving again on the grass, which is so unfortunate. As they make their way around Wilson, it is still just about somehow Dan Wheeler, the black and day-glow green car that has managed to hold on to that third position and keeps Summerhays at bay in that 85 car. But that was a great run initially by Summerhays, and it looks like Summerhays has done it down the Bentley straight. You could see just about see the colour of the roof as they make their way down to Brundle and Nelson. There go the lead two, as you were. And appearing into our sight this time, it's going to be Summerhays. He's up into third position. You saw that he was challenging to get further up, and then he was one of the ones that did the beautiful pirouette as he was going in towards Rich's. And just very odd. And it'll be interesting to see how they're going to behave when they come around to this part of the circuit now. Potentially, the leaders haven't necessarily experienced this yet, if it was either of them that dumped something, but they both looked fine as they went through. They both looked fine coming down to Rich's. And everybody seems to be behaving this time. Sorry, not Rich's, Murray's, sorry. Getting it all confused. But yeah, everybody's cleanly through this time. But there was a good few of them that went spinning off into the distance. Through goes our leader, Aaron Smith, and he's starting to pull away from Rupert Death at the moment. But we saw this yesterday.
I've got a theory for you, Chris. Now remember, Mini Miglia's run, or have the option to run on slick tyres. I wonder if there's a wet patch of tarmac up towards Coram Corner that just caught people out on that first full flying lap on slick tyres, because there's no doubt slick tyres will work around the rest of the track, but if there's one wet patch on the racing line, it may have just caught them out slightly. Who knows? We may find out at the end of the race. But
on a challenging part as well, where you were saying yesterday about how the fact that you're actually braking and turning, which of course is against the rules officially. If you're in with driver training, it's don't do that, but you don't have a choice down there. So it's very, very challenging. Another car that's done a great job at the moment, Tony LeMay, car number 69, he's got himself up into 5th position. He had issues yesterday that saw him come into the pits and into retirement, fighting his way up.
Side by side again, I think, for third place between Summerhays and Dan Wheeler, and Wheeler is back in front now. So yes, I just caught a flash of the green roof moving ahead down the Bentley straight. He is back into third place. The more those two squabble, the more the top two are escaping. So the top two, they're not exactly working together, but they are escaping for the rest of the field. So Rupert Death set the fastest lap last time around in second place, 1 minute 31.3. I reckon he's maybe inching closer to Aaron Smith again this time around. The gap was 9/10 of a second. It's probably down to about 7 or so this time, I reckon, as they come out through Murray's corner. That's Tony LeMay. Oh, and a spin further back for Dave Drew.
Yeah, that Dave Drew spun it.
A half spin anyway, same part of the track, isn't it? Up through Coram Corner, and these cars, they're short wheelbase, they're stiffly sprung. They don't like corners like Coram anyway, because they do get a little bit oversteering. Side by side, once more for third. And wow, that was a slipstream and a half, wasn't it? From Sam Summerhays, drove straight past Dan Wheeler.
Yeah, it's all happening now. We've got another side-by-side, the recovering Drew that's there with the Alfie Brown number 81, the black and the luminous pink sort of flashes across it as well. So it's all happening throughout this. It's very much Noah's Ark 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, I think, is how we kind of got there. So it's all happening. We got side-by-side, and I think that was the number 69 car of Tony LeMay. I'm not sure whether he was, I think he was defending from the 92 car of Jason Porter, who's also doing a great job up there, getting involved. And Summerhays is now pulling away from Wheeler. So he not only did he get the great slipstream down the straight, he's actually managed to make that count and start pulling away again.
Yeah, absolutely. Worth mentioning, by the way, in the Libra class, only 2 cars entered in in today's race for the Libras. I'll talk about that in a moment, because Sam Summerhays ran wide coming out of Nelson, and Dan Wheeler surely has gone back through. Yes, he has. So all going on up towards that part of the circuit, isn't it? As the leaders make their way back towards us, they are pretty much nose to tail. So just before that kicks off, in the Libra class, 126, Peter Hills is leading the way by only 0.3 of a second over Peter Cruz, who was yesterday's winner. So keep an eye on those two. Cars 126 and 177, they are battling for a class victory further down the order. Battling for the overall race victory, though, are Aaron Smith and Rupert Death, and this is as close as Death has been for a long, long time. Only 0.2 of a second back. He's just done his third successive fastest lap of the race, 1:29.638. Now, if we compare that to yesterday's race, the fastest lap in that one set by Aaron Smith was 1:24.5, so we're still about 5 seconds away from a full dry time. That tells me that, yes, they're on slicks, and yes, they're struggling a little bit still for grip and traction out there. Down towards Wilson they go. The leaders onto the Bentley straight. Chris, could not be closer.
Yeah, and it's no wonder they're on slicks. You can even just look on the straight here, and the lighter, drier tarmac is showing quite clearly. And it's taken quite a while to actually dry up this time, hasn't it? Yesterday it seemed to dry quite quickly.
Turn the microphone on. That helps. Rupert Death, I think, was sizing up Aaron Smith for a move there, Chris, down towards Brundle.
He's not quite managed to do it as they turn left. Brundle, right for Nelson. It is still Aaron Smith that is in the lead in the number 20 car. Black, pink and white mix of colours across his car. He's still sat there just about holding on to the lead as they make their way through the bomb hole and in towards Coram. In third position, we've still got the black and luminous green 88 of Dan Wheeler. There's got a little bit of daylight at the moment between himself and Summerhays after Summerhays ran wide on the last lap as he exited Nelson. But don't expect that gap to stay like that for very long. And in fact, it looks like the two behind maybe just started to reel them in ever so slightly. And that is the orange car of Tony LeMay, number 69, with Jason Porter, 92, just behind him. Through go the leaders, and in fact, Aaron Smith managed to pull away ever so slightly from Rupert Death this time. New personal best from Smith that was 2/10 quicker than Rupert Death this time. But side by side for that third position, Summerhays has managed to reel in that gap I was talking about. I don't know whether that means that Wheeler actually got a slightly bum run through sorry, what?
Sam Summerhays set the fastest lap, which is why he's probably caught up to Dan Wheeler, 129.5.
Yes, that's the one. So Summerhays got fastest lap. Apologies, I thought he pointed to like a safety car or something, then I was miles away.
Entirely believable, in fairness. Every time he points somewhere, there's usually something going on. But yes, the fastest lap for Sam Summerhays, so no wonder he's going quite quickly.
Yeah, it was a great move. It's ironic that I'd just been saying about the fact that there was the gap there between those two, and that the fifth and sixth cars of LeMay and Porter were closing in on them. But suddenly Summerhays got a great run onto the start-finish straight, got the job done as he was crossing the line. I mean, it said they were separated by 0.057. And no sooner had they crossed the line than they'd switched those positions. But the leaders are now making their way round Coram for what will be the 7th time in this 20-minute race. 9.5 minutes remaining, so we're past the halfway distance, and that looks as though our second place, Rupert Death, just had to check out a little bit there as he went through Coram. Big gap back before we then get to Sam Summerhays and Dan Wheeler that have now managed to pull away again from the two behind them, that is still being led by Tony LeMay from Jason Porter. And it just really has let the front two just escape into the distance, hasn't it? It
has. Aaron Smith, I noticed, has a bit of flapping bodywork. The right rear wheel arch, easy for me to say, is flapping away in the wind. That won't be helping the aerodynamics in a straight line, but he's certainly managing to hold on to the race lead for the time being. Another fastest lap of the race, though, for Sam Summerhays, 1:28.4. So track conditions definitely starting to come to the drivers now. He's still 8.7 seconds behind the leading two. He's not likely to catch them in the remaining 8 3/4 minutes or so, but he is now lapping quite a bit quicker than anybody else is out on the track is Sam. He, of course, was third at the line, but I think that's Dan Wheeler back in front now as they go out onto the Bentley straight. It is. So I'm not quite sure how that happened.
Look at the run from Summerhays as they head down towards Brundle and Nelson. I think he's going to be on the inside by the time he gets to Brundle, and he's going to have it done again. We wait to see them appear, and he has, and he's done it very comfortably, but he's now thrown it. He's gone to turn left round Brundle, and the car carried on turning left, even though he should have been turning right, and he's spun to exit stage left. He's kept it out of the barriers, but he's lost a handful of positions there, and he's got all the work to do again. That's such a shame. I was surprised by not only had he made the move on Dan Wheeler, but how far ahead he was, and we saw the reason why is he just took way too much speed into Brundle and just spun that car round towards the left-hand side, which is such a shame. He's got to do it all again. Lead us through for the 8th time, and it is, I see what you mean about the bodywork. Rupert Death now just suddenly thrown it towards the inside as they head toward Riches. Aaron Smith is going to chop his nose off, slam that door close.
That was close, wasn't it? Aaron Smith was not letting Rupert Death through, and look at the momentum it cost Rupert on the exit of the corner as well. The gap has shot back out between them. Dan Wheeler third, Porter is now fourth though, so Porter's going to have ahead of Tony LeMay, so 92 and 69 have swapped over. Dave Drew is sixth, then it's Brown. Summerhays is eighth after his moment, and you're absolutely right, he carried so much speed into Brundle, he just could not get the car stopped, and even on the slightly grainy CCTV footage we've got, you could see the car bouncing its way through the corner. It was so unsettled, and unfortunately he just lost control of the car. So Sam, with 7 minutes to go, I mean, he's 2 seconds behind anybody else, so even a top 5 I think now is going to be a little ambitious really. He is going to have to hope that he can just pick up as many places as possibly he can. Of course, the Miglias and the Sevens, they only have the 2 races over the course of the weekend, so this is it for them. Peter Cruz comes through. He's got the lead of the Libra class, but he's got a bit of bodywork now loose on the nose of his car, so quite how he got the class lead away, we'll leave you to draw your own conclusions.
And I have to say is that, as you were saying about how he was bouncing around that corner, you did the impression you nearly bounced me out of the commentary box up here. But here come our leaders to come down towards us for the 9th time. It's just over 6 minutes remaining. It is still number 21, Aaron Smith, that is in the lead, but only just. Rupert Death again gets a great run onto the centre straight, heading down towards Riches. I think he's deliberately made sure he's not going to make the move this time, because he's trying to carry that momentum all the way up the straight towards Wilson. Is he going to make a little bit of a challenge there? Doesn't look like he's close enough, so I think again he's going to be looking to see if he can do it down the Bentley straight. Yeah, well, that's why we've seen a lot of moves made, isn't it? Dave Drew, by the way, has just made the fastest lap now. The first man into the 127, even 0.879. So good lap from Dave in 6th place. He's now only a second and a half behind the LeMay and Porter battle. As Sam Summerhays has lost another place. Yes, you're quite right. The number 50 car, that is the recovering Peter Baldwin, of course, who has clawed his way into 8th place. Yes, absolutely. It is, as we look now to see whether we've had any change for the lead. No, not yet. So he's not managed to carry the momentum through there. It kind of looked quite deliberate, didn't it, as he went down towards Riches, that he decided against making the challenge, but he hasn't been able to make it count this time round. But is he just going to try and get himself closer and closer? Here come the lead two then into Coram, and again Rupert Death's got a great run. Is he going to try anything here? Surely not. He's going to try and make sure that he carries this momentum through Murray's onto centre straight. He's managed to do that, and they've got a back marker ahead of them. Now, are they going to encounter that back marker by the time they get to Riches? We're not sure, but Rupert Death in the number 23 again has got a great run onto the start-finish straight, and he's dragging up the inside. This time he's doing it, and I think he's going to have this done before they get anywhere near the corner, and he chops back towards the outside. Done. Signed, sealed, delivered. Rupert Death gets up into the lead. You could see over the last few laps that move developing, couldn't you? The first time he tried it, he was a bit too late up the inside, didn't quite work. The second time he decided not to bother at all, and then that time around he timed it to perfection. Now Dave Drew, who just flashed past in the middle now, he's caught up to the Porter and LeMay squabble. LeMay's got past Porter there. He has, yes, and Dave Drew tried to follow him through, but it didn't quite work. So those three now absolutely together, fighting over 4th place, with the orange car of Tony LeMay back into the 4th position now. Leaders are onto the back straight. The back marker is still ahead of them, I think. We're waiting for them to appear down at Brundle and Nelson. It's Dan Wheeler still in the 3rd position. In fact, they're already at Brundle and Nelson. They're so far ahead of Dan Wheeler. They're 14 seconds clear of Dan in 3rd place, so they've got past that back marker, in fact, and are already heading on their way up towards the bomb hole. The gap suddenly has just extended pretty dramatically between Rupert Death and Aaron Smith. So Rupert, having got through, is proving here that he's got the pace to pull away. It looks like number 29, Drew, has also managed to get past Porter. So Porter's lost 2 positions on this lap. There's 3.5 minutes remaining. They're about to complete their 11th lap this time round as the leaders come onto the centre straight. And you're right, Rupert Death has not only made that move, he's cleared off, but we've seen this yesterday. We've even seen it several times in this race as well, where that someone is able to suddenly check out for a little while, but it gets reeled back in again. That said, there's no chance that 3rd position, Dan Wheeler, number 88, sat in a very lonely 3rd position after the demise of Summerhays throwing it an exit stage left at Brundle and Nelson. But actually, Dan Wheeler, it looks like he is being closed in by the LeMay-Drew Porter battle as they're heading towards Riches. Slow lap there for Dan Wheeler. The new fastest lap set by Rupert Death is of 25.8, and Dan did a 29.4, so he is going quite slowly at the moment. Tony LeMay, though, is his best friend right now, because he's defending from Dave Drew, and therefore holding that second group of cars up, allowing Dan to just inch further ahead again. LeMay is still in 4th, 5th place for Dave Drew, but he was slow out of Chapman that time. And yes, drawing up alongside him now is the number 92 machine of Porter, Jason Porter that is, down the back straight. And I think, has Jason gone through? Well, they look like one mini, but they were absolutely together as they made their way down towards Brundle and Nelson, who is going to appear there first. There is Wheeler, there's a back marker, there's Tony LeMay, and it is still going to be Jason Porter in front, but he encounters the back marker at the worst possible point. Had to go round the outside of it. That got very close for comfort. Wowzers. I think I felt just as sorry for the back marker there, to be honest with you, because of course they can't just suddenly disappear, and I think that was keep my eyes closed and please let them just disappear around me. Leaders come through with 1 minute 55 to go, so we should be seeing 2 more laps yet, which is good to see. And a new fastest lap for Aaron Smith in 2nd position with 1:25.404, so 4/10 quicker than Rupert Death. Hence that lead has sort of reduced a fair old bit. It's still just over a half a second. but it certainly is trying to find a way back again.
Exactly as you suggested, it's so hard to escape in mini racing, isn't it? And Rupert Deith, I thought, might have done it, but Aaron Smith has put in a mega lap there and closed right back in. Side by side battles towards Rich's corner. That was Sam Summerhays, wasn't it? I think, and Peter Baldwin side by side. And I think Sam got ahead, didn't he? Sorry, Peter stayed in front, excuse me, for 7th position. But yes, new fastest lap for Aaron Smith. Did you see the way that Rupert Deith was weaving left and right again down the pit straight, trying to break the toe to stop Aaron Smith being able to slipstream him towards Rich's? It's worked, because the gap, I think, on this lap is going back out again.
Yeah, it could well be, and it looks like our third place car, Dan Wheeler's, managed to sort of break the challenge from the cars behind, primarily because I think they're so involved in their own, LeMay, Porter and Drew, that's 69, 92 and 29, so embroiled on their own battle that they've managed to allow Dan Wheeler to escape in that third and final podium position. But the leaders are already onto centre straight for the penultimate time, and you're right, Rupert Deith has indeed managed to stretch that out. Remember, that was 0.564 last time. Are we going to see a new fastest lap of the race by our leader, Rupert Deith? Through he comes. It is indeed a 124.3. Where did that come from? 125.4 was the lap that we had last time, set by Smith, that was fastest. We've now had 1.1 second lopped off of that one. That's incredible.
And that is faster than Aaron Smith went yesterday. It set the fastest laps of the track now, although you wouldn't necessarily know it to look at it, is quicker than it was yesterday afternoon. Dan Wheeler still third. Can Tony LeMay catch Dan over the remaining lap? There are only 9 tenths between them. He was 3 tenths quicker on the previous lap, though. Then the battle on behind, and that's a brave attempt to move by Dave Drew up the inside of Jason Porter. It didn't quite pay off, though, into Rich's. But yes, at that rate of closure, LeMay is going to be maybe within 4 tenths or so of a second behind Dan Wheeler coming onto the pit straight at the end of this, the final lap. So he may just get there. Blimey, Rupert Deith still pushing on, isn't he, through Brundle and Nelson. He's got over 1 second margin now, though. Probably over 2 seconds, in fact, now over Aaron Smith in second place. He's looking good for the race win. The question is, who's going to finish third?
Yeah, it's pretty tight, and it looked like Aaron Smith got bulked by a back marker that was between himself and Rupert Deith, so they're already making their way round corner. In fact, our leader is just about to make it into Murray's. And look at this, third and fourth are together now as they exit Nelson, head towards the bomb hole. It is still Dan Wheeler, number 88, that sat there in third position, but my goodness, Tony LeMay, number 69, is glued to the back of him. But the leader is now coming through to take the checkered flag. Round of applause there for Rupert Deith. He comes through and takes the victory by a long way in the end. I think Aaron Smith knew that he was broken. 2.9 seconds was the gap in the end. But look at this challenge for third position. It is still Dan Wheeler that has it. Coming through Murray's, lights ablaze by Tony LeMay. Does he think he's going to psych Dan Wheeler out? No chance. Dan Wheeler is still sat there in third. It's going to be a drag for the line. It is still the number 88 car that's got it, but diving out at the line is going to be 69. And we wait for the time in. It's Wheeler that's got it by 0.020. How many times are we going to have this today where it's that close? And understandably, number 88 Dan Wheeler and the fourth position 69 Tony LeMay go side by side, clearly congratulating each other for a great race. The sad figure of Kane Astin's number 11 Mini just coming down the pit lane, so they obviously hoped they were going to get that one to start, but it wasn't able to make it out, which is such a shame. But Rupert Deith takes a fabulous victory there. He's had to work very, very hard for that. So that's 2 out of 2 for Rupert Deith. Aaron Smith, 2 second places, taking that second, and Dan Wheeler taking the 2 third places. It doesn't tell the story. If you look at it and see when a race finishes the same both races, potentially even the same as in qualifying, if you just saw that in text, you would assume that it was a boring race already pre-written. Not a chance. It was so exciting. So well done, Rupert Deith, Aaron Smith, Dan Wheeler, Tony LeMay. Then it was 92 Jason Porter in 5th position, Dave Drew, the number 29 car, in 6th, 7th Peter Baldwin, number 50.
Class, after a hardcore tussle early on in the going, and ended up just about hanging on. Well done, Dan, back on the podium, third step once more for him, and a consistent congratulations to Aaron. He is once more on the second step of the podium. Well done, Rupert, back onto the top step, a familiar vantage point for him here at Snetterton this weekend. Gather as closely together as you can. If you can all fit on the top step, then please do. If not...
Yeah, no, I was biding my time. I knew that we'd broken from the pack, and the conditions were still a bit slippy, and I thought it's not worth risking it. I thought let Aaron do the hard work and I'll stick behind him. And I saw it as the time was ticking on, and I seized my moment, and yeah, away we went. So another win, and yeah, massive thanks to Stuart and Charlie who obviously helped prepare the car, and my sponsors, Mini Spares.